Because I couldn't like go to bed. It was so nice out. So instead I go down and I
Go ahead and call this meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Hurd.
Here.
Vice Mayor Martinez.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Commissioner Lindenbroker.
Here.
Commissioner Seegers.
Present.
That was the count, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. May we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Petty, if you could have the invocation, please. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you. Let's bow for prayer. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. For your word says that this is the day that the Lord hath made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. So we thank you for the warmth, the blue sky, the sunshine, just the gift of life that you provide for each one of us here. I pray for a special meeting tonight, that it'll be a good meeting for all of our commissioners. I pray that you will give them the wisdom of Solomon, the love of Christ, and the patience of Job. Lord, as they undertake the business at hand tonight, Lord, I pray that you will guide them and direct them. Bless them with good health and strength. Bless their families. I pray, Lord, for all of our city employees tonight, that you will help them protect them, keep them safe, and all the hard work that they do to make Liberal the best place that it can be. And Lord, you know that the word liberal means to be generous, and we thank you for this generous community of Liberal, Kansas. For we pray this now in the precious name of Jesus. Amen and amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Petty. Before we move on to the awards, proclamations, and presentations, I just want to inform the public that is viewing from home that if you are having any, experiencing any difficulties with the live stream, we are uploading the videos in their entirety in HD after the meeting has concluded. So if you have difficulties watching it during, definitely check back, and there'll be a fluid link that's there immediately afterward. And following that, may we have the awards. If Chief Kutchoff, you would like to come up front here.
Evening.
Good evening.
Evening. I want to present Officer Hampton and Sergeant Neves. I want to give you kind of a background situation on this. This is a life-saving award that these two officers were involved in. Back on February 3rd at 7:35 in the evening, Officer Hampton arrived on the scene in a house fire. Upon arrival, Officer Hampton contacted the residents that had already left the residence, and he had learned that a 1-year-old was still inside the house. The officer could hear the baby crying from inside the house. The house was fully, I don't believe it was fully engulfed, but it was definitely on fire and dense smoke. Officer Hampton was inside the house. Sergeant Neves arrived on scene and entered the residence to assist in searching for the baby. During their search, they located the baby who was crying and was able to get him to safety. So with that, we're giving Officer Hampton and Sergeant Neves life-saving awards.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your dedication to the City of Liberty.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Moving on, we need an approval or a motion for approval of the amended agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Warren, a second by Commissioner Seacrest to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on, we need the approval of the minutes for the January 26, 2021 regular meeting corrected minutes.
I move we approve the January 26, 2021 regular meeting corrected minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Seacrest, a second by Commissioner Lindenbroker to approve the January 26, 2021 regular meeting corrected minutes. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Now if we could have a motion for the February 2nd, 2021 special meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion we approve the February 2nd, 2021 special meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lindenbroker, second by Commissioner Seacrest, to approve the February 2nd, 2021 special meeting minutes. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Do I need to abstain since that's the meeting I missed?
We can have you abstain. Motion carries 4 with an abstention. And finally, the approval of the February 9th, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the February 9th, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez, a second by Commissioner Seacrest to approve the February 9th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lindenbroker, a second by Commissioner Seacrest to approve the consent agenda as printed. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to agenda item number 5, we have the CDBG-CV business applications. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening. Good evening, Commissioners. We received 3 applications for the CDBG funds, Fairfield Inn, Hampton Inn, and Ranch Motel. I just did receive a question from Commissioner Lindenbroker if they received funds. There was indicated PPP, which isn't part of this. I don't have any way to tell if they received other funding.
Well, we know that the business travel industry was really shut down, so it's probably was hard on it.
Well, and I see all these applications are also focused on job retention.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and one of them is a ranch motel, which is 2 employees, and the other ones are 13 and 15 employees. So they do meet the criteria.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve the CDBG-CV business application that for Fairfield Inn, Hampton Inn, and Ranch Motel. We gotta have a total or just?
I'll itemize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez, a second by Commissioner Warren to approve the 3 CDBG-CV business applications, one to the Fairfield Inn in the amount of $30,000, the second to the Hampton Inn in the amount of $32,000, and the third to the Ranch Motel in the amount of $15,515. Is there any more discussion on the topic? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 4-1. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you.
And moving on, yep, I guess we got you on item number 6. Moving on to item number 6, we have the bus camera bid award.
Now, I tried to explain on this what happened the first time we bid. Safety Vision was the only bid that we received, and they had bid 1 camera per bus. In the paragraph further down, it said, and 3 supporting cameras, so they were to bid 4 cameras per bus. And rather than let them do a change order, we rebid it. So, and this is what we ended up with. One of the bids was actually late. It could have been due to weather. I'll let you decide how you want to do that.
Which bid was late?
The one from Safety Vision came in at 11:31 that day, and the Safe Fleet bid was hand-delivered. It was around 9:30 in the morning.
What day was it?
The 11th, February 11th.
It was the right day, just a little bit.
Yes.
And they were the ones that the only bidder the first time that you guys, so you opened the bid again for?
Yes.
Yeah. And we're able to, in this situation, to still award whoever we want, or?
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, the bid that was late was a result of the courier.
What is it? Karen, what's it say here? It says Safe Fleet had also overnighted their bid and it was not received prior to bid opening?
Right.
Okay, so you had it on time, but then you waited for the bid to get there before you opened both of them?
No. Okay, so the man from Safe Fleet hand-delivered at 9:30, and then he came back for the bid opening at 11 because he was in town. The courier brought the other bid at 11:30 in the morning.
And the envelope did say on it, deliver by 11. So, I mean, it was not the vendor's fault, it was a fault of the courier.
I think given the circumstances, you can award the bid to either entity.
Yeah, especially considering we only have 2.
And none of them are late or local anyway, right?
No, neither one are local.
Well, I'll make the motion, we approve the Safety Vision in the amount of $29,156.63.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez and a second by Commissioner Lindenbroker to approve the bid for Safety Vision in the amount of $29,156.63. Is there any more discussion on the topic? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. Moving on to item number 7, we have the Tree Cost Share Program for spring of 2021. Good evening, Brad.
Mayor, Commissioners, I got Bruce Young here, the Park Superintendent. This is just a kind of an annual deal we do to let you know that we're ordering trees for the spring. Of course, we'll do a fall order also. If you got any questions, we'd be happy to entertain questions. We did check with the grower, Bruce did, to see if the freeze got any of the trees. We're gonna, go ahead.
So far, everything looks good.
Good.
And hopefully, we're gonna get them in here.
Probably next week.
Terrific. Well, it's a beautiful blend of different trees once again.
And they'll go on sale tomorrow if you approve this.
That Oklahoma whitebud's a new one, right? I'm kind of interested in that.
Kinda like the red
They're
bud.
like a red bud, but a white bud, yeah.
Sometimes you gotta get what they got.
Yep. I was gonna say that when I look at that, all I see is a stimulation of the allergies.
So what do we need to do here?
Just a motion to approve
Mhm.
the program.
I'll make a motion that we approve the tree cost share program for spring 2021.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Warren, a second by Commissioner Segrist to approve the tree cost share program for spring of 2021. Is there any more discussion on the topic? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Item number 8, we have the indoor golf and interactive sports simulator / shooting sports simulator. And item A under 8 is accept a donation from National Beef in the amount of $50,000.
I move we accept the donation from National Beef in the amount of $50,000.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Segrist and a second by Vice Mayor Martinez to accept the donation from National Beef in the amount of $50,000. Is there any more discussion on the topic? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. National Beef, thank you very, very much for the generous donation.
Thank you, National Beef.
Moving on to item B under item 8, we have the purchase of 2 simulators from Sports Entertainment Specialist for $42,150. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I appreciate a moment of your time tonight. Come to you guys about the rec center. We're trying to add new activities down there. We are getting ready to start on the old side with construction and all the great process on that. We would love to fill it up with several things. The golf simulator has been a mission of ours, and a shooting simulator. The golf simulator has 12 golf courses. It is true trackability, so once you hit the ball into a screen, it tracks the ball speed, the club speed. It is amazing, and you play a real round of golf. It's amazing system. It has cameras, the whole works. This also has rally baseball, slap shot hockey, breakaway soccer, and football. So not only golf, you can play other sports with it. And on the shooting side of it, we had one simulator that could do both, but we understood the demand that everybody's going to want to play on this thing. So with the shooting simulator, you can hunt zombies. You can also do hunter's education. You can do police training, shooting targets. They also have handguns that have recoil that doesn't shoot real bullets, but it gives it the feel of a real gun. It uses laser beam training, so it's spot on. It's just like shooting a gun. Bullets right now are ridiculously expensive. This is, with the shooting range down, this gives us another alternative for people to get in to get some training done indoors, safe environment. It's a great thing. So I come to you guys tonight with hopes that we would move forward, and we recommend that we purchase the one golf simulator and one shooting simulator from Sports Entertainment Specialist for the amount of $42,150.
And we're gonna use this donation from National Beef to.
Yes, we would turn around and use that donation.
It's a no-brainer here, so. I'll make a motion, we accepted the purchase of 2 simulators from Sports Entertainment Specialists for $42,150.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Martinez, a second by Commissioner Warren to approve the purchase of 2 simulators from Sports Entertainment Specialists in the amount of $42,150. Do we have any more discussion on the topic?
If I remember correctly, that was specifically what they donated this for.
Yes, yes.
So it was kind of tagged for this project. It wasn't, here, Matt, whatever you want.
Yeah, terrific.
I think that'll be a great deal.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be something that a lot of the youth in town is going to show an immense amount of interest in, and just get more and more people in that building, so
Well,
it
for the
seems
rec
excellent.
center.
All ages can do this, and that's the great thing about it.
Absolutely. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Moving on to agenda item number 9, we have the floor project bid award.
Mayor, Commissioners, again.
Hello again, Brad.
So we sent out bids for flooring for the new commission chambers, the new Bluebonnet community building, which would be the old rec center, and the animal shelter. Everything was published. Earl's Engineering sent bids to various companies. We got one bid received back from Brown's Furniture, and we would like to accept that bid from Brown's Furniture for $36,900 for 10,000 square feet of Pergo Extreme.
And it came in under what we were estimating when it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the engineer's estimate was around $5 a square foot, and they come in at $369.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
I
good
move
job.
we approve the flooring bid from Brown's Furniture in the amount of $36,900 for new commission chambers, carpet, animal shelter, and new Bluebonnet community building.
Second.
flooring.
We have a motion by Commissioner Segrist with a second by Vice Mayor Martinez to approve the bid for Brown's Furniture in the amount of $36,900 for the flooring for the new commission chambers, animal shelter, and new Bluebonnet community building. Is there any more discussion on the topic? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brad.
Thanks.
Moving on to agenda item number 10, we have the emergency repairs for the airport fire station garage doors. Good evening, Skeety.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. This is an emergency repair that we really need to get done. It started off with our east-facing door. The door spring broke and it came crashing down. Luckily, nobody was there underneath it to get hit by it, but it did crack one of the windows. We got the spring replaced, and within about 2 to 3 months, the other spring broke, and it came crashing down again. This time, it broke out every window in that garage door, and these are really heavy garage doors. I think it came original with the building in '79, so these things are
Back when they built things
are
sturdy.
massive. So now that door is inoperative. We can't use it, and then we're having problems with the west-facing door out onto the ramp now. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it doesn't. Luckily, this isn't the door that allows our big crash ARF truck out, but our backup truck, we won't be able to get out possibly if that door won't open. So I got with Brian, and luckily he has some money available to replace both doors, both openers. The openers are so old that you can't even get parts for the openers anymore. So we want to replace both these doors, both the openers, at a cost of $8,800. We did put it out to 2 different companies here in town. We only received one back, and that was Southwest Glass. So asking for permission to buy these and the openers, and it would come out of the airport repair and maintenance building fund.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the emergency repair for the airport for 2 garage doors in the amount of $8,800. So I know what you're talking about. I had my spring break on one side and it crashed down, and then the other one did the same thing.
Well, I was
Sounds
just
like,
told
sounds
by
like an explosion.
I was just told by our chief that our engine 16 bay door at our north station, the spring just broke on it this afternoon.
Oh.
And luckily it didn't come crashing down.
Good.
So-
Good.
So we need to approve another door while we're at it?
I think we can get by with the springs on this one.
Well, and Brian, thank you very much for working with the fire department and helping them find the funding out of the airport to be able to accomplish the project. I will go ahead and second Vice Mayor Martinez. So we had motion was made by Vice Mayor Martinez, second by Mayor Harden, to approve the purchase of 2 new garage doors and openers in the total cost of $8,800 through Southwest Glass, with the funds to come from the airport repair maintenance. Do I have to say the 501? From the airport fund. Is there any more discussion on the topic? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Skeety.
Thanks.
That concludes our items on the agenda. If any city staff has anything they'd like to share, go ahead and come up to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
I just wanted to share with how the tournaments went last year, even with COVID and everything like that. Since it was a new position in our first year trying to be operational, we ended up with 9 tournaments last year. The goal was 15, but of course with COVID we lost about half the year. By the end of it, the economic impact, according to the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism, was $752,903. That is missing one tournament that they still haven't got back to me yet, which looking at the other ones that I believe everyone got in an email as well, was probably going to roughly be around 80,000, so we'd have been over 800,000 would have made. We've used a lot of the Facebook, email, and word of mouth to help gain. So far this year, once this weekend concludes, we'll already host 6 tournaments, pretty much all of them at the rec center. They've all been basketball and 1 indoor soccer. This weekend we have 31 teams coming to town. I think 4 from Liberal, so 27 coming from elsewhere. Some stay, but a lot of them are pretty close. The Panhandle and the surrounding areas have really shown up well for our tournaments. I know after the boys tournament, we had to turn teams down a couple weeks ago. We had 12 teams, and that's all we could host in our gym, but I talked to a few restaurants, and they said they saw 3 to 4 or 5 different teams and ended up having waiting lists at their restaurants, so they're going out and eating and everything like that. So this weekend we're using Sunflower's 2 gyms as well. It still leaves us pretty limited on space, but we're doing best that we can, so it should be a very event-filled weekend. This year we're hoping to get to 15 to 18 tournaments. As long as everything stays going as it is, we should be okay there. And we've never had any COVID traced back to us. I normally reach out to teams afterwards just to make sure everybody's feeling good. We wear masks, we do all that, and we haven't had any teams come back saying they've had anyone positive. So we're looking to hopefully keep growing in 2021. Thank you.
That's excellent news.
Good job.
Did I see a hint of a suggestion there that you need more gyms?
Possibly.
And on that, I have talked to Brad Carr with Kids Inc. and Kids Inc. is pursuing being able to help us or come up with funding, so because everybody recognizes the need for more gyms. I mean, obviously, what was it that one weekend you turned away 12 teams?
I think it actually ended up being about 9, but yeah, we could have hosted over 20 5th and 6th grade boys team that first weekend, and we had a couple drop out, so it was easy replacements, but we still had quite a few trying to get in even Friday night, starting on Saturday mornings, ready to come to town. So
when our goal is when we get everything going to be more like 50 to 100 teams. What did it take Perryton, 2-3 years to go to 100 teams?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I mean, it's been terrific. I mean, this program's still very much in its infancy, and watching how far it's come over the last several years has been fantastic. So thank you very much for all of your hard work on that, Nick.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have an excellent night. Are there any more items from staff? Good evening, Chief.
If I could also have a moment of your time, I had a couple things I'd like to visit with you about, or at least make you aware of this evening. And I just added one to the list. I'd like to also take a moment and extend my congratulations to Sergeant Nieves and Officer Hampton for their successful rescue of that child. Been at this for a while, and I arrived at the scene of that house fire. I was probably the 3rd person there, and I was coming up the sidewalk just as they came out the door with the baby, and they were both officers were pretty well overcome by smoke and cough, and I was very concerned for them, for their welfare as well. And police, fire, EMS, we're all emergency responders, and our whole life is about risk versus benefit. We'll risk everything to save a life. We'll risk a lot to save some property, and it'll be a calculated risk, and we'll risk nothing to save nothing. So those gentlemen made a decision that there was a life to be saved, and they did that. And what we do can be very intense. I often say career in the fire service is hours of boredom interrupted by moments of sheer terror, and I'm not kidding you when I say that. It never ceases to amaze me when we have a fire like that, and then we get back to the station and the report is written and I'm doing a press release or something like that. Those first few minutes seem like an eternity, and you're making snap decisions all the time. And then you get back and you read that you declared the fire under control 13 minutes after it happened. It seemed like hours went by during that fight. And those gentlemen took a risk, and it was a serious risk. we do things in the fire service. When we approach a house, we start our size up the minute we can see the smoke, and we read that smoke, because smoke is basically fuel. And, you know, those gentlemen were a broken pane of glass away from being in real danger themselves. That room had basically burnt to a very high temperature, and the only thing, the inner pane of glass on the window had failed, the outer pane of glass held, and with all that smoke and heat that was built up, had that fire got some oxygen and took off again, all that smoke those gentlemen were walking through could have just as easily been a wall of flame instead of just hot smoke. So they truly put their lives in jeopardy, and there's a 1-year-old who's in good shape today.
They're not even
because
wearing
of that.
fire protection equipment either.
Yeah, and we wear our PPE for a reason. The smoke, not only is that smoke hot in an IDLH atmosphere, it's filled with poisons, cyanide, acrolein, phosgene, you name it. There are so many poisons in there. I think Chief Cutshaw would back me up on this. Officer Nieves was feeling the effects for several days after the rescue. So applaud their efforts, and it was a calculated risk, and I'm sure the family's glad they took it.
And one thing Chief Kelly and I have talked about is he's going to get with Chief Cutshaw, and we're going to work on trying to get some kind of training for our first responders. Obviously, we're not going to train the fire department how to respond to gunshots, but at least, and I don't know where you've gotten on that, but we do want to give every one of our first responders every advantage we can to survive.
Absolutely.
It's always good to cross train. We did that in the past as well. Try to teach the things that we do. It's called a reading smoke class. That can be very valuable, one of the most valuable classes. But things regarding hazmat and things like that. And there are things almost without fail. Police are the first ones on scene because they're already out rolling. When it happens, we're in the stations and we have to respond. There are things that can be done with regard to flow paths and things like that in the home, that once you know everyone's out, it's actually best to close the place back up and starve the fire of oxygen. So there are steps that they could take to help minimize damage in a lot of cases as well. So,
Absolutely.
but I sure want to applaud those two gentlemen for their act. So.
I'd be interested in that training. I did that in the railroad as a first responder, and went to, for train derailments, and there's a lot of stuff like you're talking about. You're exposed
It's
to.
things that people, they don't think about it every day. We do.
Yeah.
We live it every day. That's what we study.
You
That's
take
what
one
we-
whiff of that and you're dead.
What we train on. Well, just in Wichita this week, there was a 17-year-old girl who was in a duplex, and it was a fire in the kitchen, and she died of smoke inhalation. Why she wouldn't just go out a window? Probably because the carbon monoxide and the poison she was breathing caused her to be disoriented and incoherent and unable to rescue themselves. I've seen one of the tiniest houses here in Liberal, Kansas on South Sherman, probably 35-year-old man who we understand later was in the military in Central America, unable to get out of a window and save himself, and perished in the fire. So it's amazing what happens. It truly
Yes.
is. And that wasn't even what I wanted to get up here and tell you guys about. We haven't, last time I was up here, we talked a little bit about our ISO rating, and we haven't received the formal notification and the report documenting the evaluation, but we have received email notification that we will remain with a new rating. We'll stay at 3. Our ISO will remain at 3, and it will be now a 3-3X rating. What ISO, they've changed their rating, fine-tuned a little bit to allow insurance companies to do a better job of forecasting their rates and things like that. So if I'm not mistaken, the 3X will apply to areas where we have weaker coverage. It's so areas where our coverage is good will receive the full value of the 3. Areas where our coverage may be weaker, and one of the things that is in the letter that we received this week is we no longer get credit for Station 3. And we can thank the Federal Aviation Administration for that. They required us to put a backup airport truck out there. So that being a 2-bay station, we had to take the pumper out of there and move it back to the south station. So where we had a structural pumper out there before, without putting a bay on that building, we
That's
can't
something
keep
we
that
could do to.
pumper out there.
I think
that
all we'd have to
coverage
do is
back.
add another bay to the building,
Yeah.
and
Put a
then
bay
if
on the
all
building
3
and move that
trucks are
truck
there,
back.
would be good.
But regardless, our ISO did not change. But some areas of town may receive a little bit different rates. They'll receive the 3X rating instead of the 3. So
Well, 3 is still spectacular.
And I was so confident of that. I mean, the range for ISO rating of 3 is from 70 to 79.99. At the last evaluation, we were 79 plus. We were over 79 already. We would have had to really stubbed our toe and stumbled to drop all the way back to a 4. So I was confident that we would. I wanted to be a little bit hopeful that we would go to a 2. But,
I've always gone with what you told me the first year as an officer, that we'd rather be a solid and steady, consistent 3 than ever try to aim for a 2 and then fluctuate between 2 and 3. So it's terrific work on keeping everything up.
Thank you. Because, quite honestly, fire protection is whatever risk the community is willing to bear. If they want to spend $4 million a year for a fire department, then we could probably maybe be a 1. But with the budget that we have now, 3 is very good for our community, and 2 would be just stellar.
Absolutely.
So we've received that notification, and you'll probably be receiving and seeing the formal letter notification of that. And then rest assured, when we get that report, we go through it with a fine-tooth comb and see if there's anything we can improve or anything we can be doing differently. And so all of that.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then the last thing I wanted to just throw out to you is, if you'll check your city emails, I believe you'll find one from Emergency Management Director Greg Standard, and it's a forward of a document from the Kansas Department of Emergency Management, basically spelling out, because of the past year that we've spent, and we are coming around on 1 year since they opened the Emergency Operations Center for COVID. It's a good outline of what happens in a disaster with regard to how the locals handle it, when the state would kick in and what support they would offer, where cities fit in, where counties fit in. I think it's a very valuable 14-page document, and I'd encourage you all to check your emails and look through that. I think you'll find it an enlightening document. One of the best things I've ever seen come out of KDM in a lot of years.
That's awesome.
All right, and with that, I'll let you go.
Chief, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief.
Do we have any more city staff that would like to share with us? Moving on to item number 12, the city manager's report.
Okay, a couple advisory items. Wastewater, we will be having an expenditure come up. We had a pump go down that pumps from cell 7 to 8. The existing, it's a 2-pump station, but they're obsolete basically. We can kind of get one like it, but it costs us about $24,000. We're looking at getting a skid mount, plug and play, that so when the new plant comes online, we can move this pump where we want it. And so that's going to be about an $18,000 expenditure, but that would be part of their daily operations to keep the plant running anyway, so that's just an advisory. The other thing is we did discover they have an issue with their SCBA, or their self-contained breathing apparatus out there. They have 3 sets of tanks that are 11 years old. And I think my information from Chief is they really has got a 10-year life on them. Am I right, Kelly?
It depends on what kind of equipment that they have, depends on the type of model. Some will have a lifespan and some will have not necessarily infinite, but very long.
Yeah. But the other issue is I discovered they only have 3 masks. And after the COVID era, we need to upgrade the equipment and get everybody their own mask. We're going to go where Jose is running with that, getting quotes. We will run it through Chief, and whatever he thinks his recommendation is what we're going to recommend to the commission. But roughly we'd be looking at about a $14,000 expenditure to come up with 3 new sets of tanks and 12 masks. And part of our bid is going to be that, number 1, who are we getting from? They provide training, they do the fit test, and they periodically redo our equipment. And we'll probably end up going with the same vendor that Chief Kelly uses for his.
Awesome.
So just be aware of that.
One request, when we're looking at getting those requests out there, can we see about getting those longer-term lifespan tanks if those are available?
I'm going to get myself in trouble here because I've not dealt with this for so long, but the SCBA tanks, they need to be hydrostatically tested. And I think the old aluminum, every 5 years, there are the old aluminum style, which are kind of some old school. And going back to when Skeety and I started, we had the steel pills that you wore on your back, and then they went to wrapped aluminum, and now it's an aluminum frame with fiberglass wrap around it. probably what they're gonna be buying are the fiberglass wrapped, and those will have, they didn't even know what the life expectancy was of those when they first came out, so they called it 10 years. And then after they got a track record, they realized, okay, they're probably okay, we'll call it 15, and now I think they're even thinking about 20.
Perfect.
So we're talking about a 20-year lifespan, but I believe what they have out there now is probably ending, it's somewhere, it's 11 years old. So if it's in between that 10 and 15, it probably doesn't have but about 4 more years of lifespan on it, because I'm sure it's gonna be a wrapped cylinder. But to get the ones, the old aluminum ones that can go on indefinitely, I don't even know if you could buy those.
Yeah, we need a time capsule.
You can buy them?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a difference, one in weight. So your carbon fiber wrap is gonna be a lot lighter, you can wear it a lot longer, versus an aluminum cylinder that is heavier, but you can, until that thing fails, you can hydro test that. So,
As long as
and
it
then
has.
the carbon fiber wraps are a lot more expensive than just the aluminum bottles.
I think another thing is with the aluminum, they can do an electrical eddy test through there and tell if it's getting weak in any areas where the carbon fiber is unable.
I train with them metal ones, and they do where you, after an hour of that, you get tired, so that carbon fiber will be.
Let's see if we can get quotes for both.
I don't.
Oh, you got something.
I don't understand the one size fits all mask, because you got to be fitted, and then if they don't fit, you can sanitize them and use them for somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's not.
But
It's
they
not
need- they
hanging
need to
three
be
in the shed
professionally
is
test
not
fitted.
not a
Can't
good
be,
deal.
this works.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
But that was just to advise you what we got coming, because that is kind of a huge safety issue. The next one to advise you on, and I think everybody should know, because KDOT's got it out there, but the 83 bypass, they will close one lane of it starting March 1st. National Carriers reached out to me to see could they use 8th Street, so they would come in 8th Street and then go up Jacobson Drive to get their cattle haulers across. I told Dennis, I says, I don't really have a problem with that. We're in the process of building the toll booth now. But I says, you might want to check with KDOT to see where they're going to put temporary lights. I said, if it's before Jacobson Drive, you'll never get across there. And from the information, he just sent me an email before the meeting that the temporary stoplight is going to be basically 400 feet to the north of the bridge and 400 feet to the south. So starting March 1st, just figure, hey, don't take the bypass. Just sit and wait on the train.
Yeah.
And hopefully, with Monday being a holiday and my communication with Southern Pioneer, that we can serve by only keeping emergency services open, that we can serve enough energy that I don't have to come back to you and ask for a loan to pay the utility bills. And I want to thank the staff because they did a great job keeping emergency service, kept everything going. Even through this, we didn't really fall behind.
Absolutely.
We did have a couple of people sneak in because they wanted to make sure payroll was done or the vouchers were done and people got their checks, but for the most part, all our buildings except for emergency services were closed in effort to conserve energy.
Fantastic.
I think that's all I got.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Cal. Moving on to item 13, we have items from citizens. If we have any citizens that are wanting to share with the commission, please come up to the podium and please state your name and address and try to keep the conversation to roughly 5 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Hey, good evening, Chris.
How are you all doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Mayor and our city manager. I'm sorry I'm not on the agenda. I am Chris Hammond from the Black History Committee, and this is Natasha Boga. Since this is Black History Month, we haven't been able to do anything special for Black History Month, and we really wanted to do what we call a car parade in our neighborhood. We kind of mapped out a plan without, and I'm sorry, I did not know that we were supposed to present this to you and get approval to do a parade. I've never done one before, but next year we will. We really wanted to start maybe at Southgate Mall, but we have kind of tabled that because there was an issue with crossing Highway 54 and without a permit. So if you all will allow us and work with us and help us to have a parade, we will even start at 11th Street at that park and just go east and then use those streets.
You could start at the depot like some of the parades do and go down to Kansas and then make that right on to 11th.
Oh, okay.
There should be a ton of flexible options because really the only necessity of why there's even a permit required is just so that we can get emergency services to make sure they're closing down the proper roads and keeping all of the people that are involved with the parade and then everyone else safe during the event.
Okay.
So
This is going to be a car parade?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically we could, PD could treat that very similar to a funeral procession.
Yeah, just have a unit in
They
the
go
front.
from intersection to intersection there.
Yeah.
What do you do, 2 intersections at a time, Chief?
Yeah, I mean, if she can get with me, I think we can accommodate whatever she needs.
Okay.
Okay,
One,
so
one thing I ask, do you have a drive-through window for some of that good food that was handed out?
I know, huh?
Yeah.
We'll cook you a meal. We will, however, in July, we have looked at moving our events to July. Hopefully, we can do a lot outside, and hopefully COVID will allow us to do that. And hopefully, we will have our food fest, which I enjoy, and then a couple other things in the summer months in July, but we will gladly keep you all informed on that. So to be on the same page, which I wasn't before, and I'm sorry, we can start at, okay, but they said the depot, if you want to.
Go the other
So we
direction.
can-
I mean, you can, welcome to start.
We can start at the depot.
Yeah, either one. Either way, because it's the same thing, just in reverse directions. So
Okay,
either way.
So we can start at the depot and then go down Kansas Avenue to 15th Street, 11th Street. You tell me.
I was going to say quite literally, Chris, whatever Chief and you outline as far as the route, because they'll be the ones that are making sure that they're closing the intersections. Whatever he outlines, you guys are absolutely okay to do.
On a Saturday, I would say 11th would probably be better because you got all that traffic coming in and out of Dillon's on
Yeah, you're right.
Saturday.
It is, yeah. And we had planned on starting this about 4 o'clock, and it's not gonna be that long. It probably 45 minutes if we don't run out of gas, since the price.
Yes, and the prices are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Well, no, this sounds like a terrific event, and I know that you've been organizing and helping the Black History Month for the last couple of years, and so thrilled that you guys will have an opportunity to be able to do this in town. And no need to apologize about anything. A lot of people don't know. Anytime that we have parades, protests, anything like that, the only reason there's a permit required is just so we can make sure that we have a well thought out strategy of how to make sure that everybody can move without being
Okay.
impeded.
Okay. thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you.
Does
So
anyone
I
want to
will
make a
get
motion
with
while I
them.
have a permit?
Okay.
I'll make a
Actually,
motion.
just sign
Did
off
you
on
sign
it.
off it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what date was
Don't I
that, Chris?
just
Oh, I'm
sign it?
sorry. It is going to be Saturday, the 27th.
This
Okay.
Saturday.
Isn't it Saturday?
Yeah.
27th?
27,
And it's
21 at what time?
At 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
We will gather at 4 o'clock at the depot. Okay, at the depot.
Terrific.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a
And then we will go
big
from
parking
there.
lot there to start out in.
Sir?
There's a big parking lot where you can line up in there and start
Oh,
out.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Or
you.
down, what's that,
And-
Rock
and
Island Street.
Chief Cutshall will get you his contact info, and then that way you guys can work closely on getting everything figured out.
So
I
if
think
any
they've
of you would
already-
like to join us, please do.
Absolutely.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Do we have any more citizens that would like to share with the commission? Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Hello, Mr. Mayor, all the commissioners and the staff present. Good evening. My name is Jay Bhakta.
My name is Bob Bhakta.
I own a 2 hotel here. Just about at 5, we got a newspaper. We read something in the paper that some of the hotel are getting some kind of grant from the city. We were not aware of that.
So it's not a grant. It actually took place in tonight's meeting before you guys arrived. So it is was on our agenda. I'll pull up the exact numbers for you. And it
Number
wasn't
8,
it wasn't a grant. What it was is the CDBG-CV funds. So those are those COVID funds. So you guys would be just as applicable to apply for those through your guys' hotels or any of your
Can we have
businesses.
some more information on that? I think
Now,
I
you would
came
need
here.
to come in or get a hold of me during the day and see either Karen Lafreniere or Cindy.
Yeah, because they have a lot of information that you'll have to submit. But essentially tonight, 3 different hotels here in town did receive funding through those COVID funds because they were able to show everything that they experienced losses due to COVID.
All right. Also, where are those funds coming from? Is it from the city or?
From the state.
State,
Mhm.
okay. So
We just dispersed.
Yeah, so we've had a pre-allotted amount that was given to the city and the county also as well. And then we've been trying to make sure and be really frugal about managing it to make sure that businesses that absolutely need that to make sure that they keep an operation are able to receive it. And then we actually denied one in the past that we didn't believe was necessary for the business to keep open. So we tried to manage those very frugally.
I have contacted a few hotel owners and no one knew about this grant program. Maybe we have not been informed or.
Well, it was published on the website and in the paper, and was on Facebook also, correct? Yeah, it was out there. The information was out there. In fact,
So
Cindy and
what is the
Karen even
deadline for
reached
that?
out to
And
businesses.
now we know where to get information. And I would also, ask this city commission to be more communicative, especially with the hotels in future.
Which of the two hotels you say?
I own Quality and Motel 6.
Quality and Motel.
Right.
And the other one?
Southwind.
Okay, yeah. You get quite a bit of customers,
Right.
so
So
we need to.
county has this grant. One of the county commissioner who went to each hotel, handing out applications in November. And that's how we know we got some funding, which also helped. And just like every other business, we are struggling as well.
Right.
So any help that we can get from city or state, can help us and, our employee. I have about 15 employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, our concern are not only for us as a owner, but our employee as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you guys, if you do it tomorrow or whenever you get around to doing it, just call the city and it'll be Karen Lafreniere
And
that
also,
you're wanting to contact, and
there's,
she'll set up an appointment.
If there is anything like this specifically to hotel-related grants or any grant, if this can be passed to tourism department. I've personally been very active with CVB. I'm currently chairman for last few years. I've been there for 14 years. And that way, we pass it to every hotel owner, and it is up to them after that. So
Who's
if you guys
the-
can do that, we'll kindly appreciate that.
Who's the head of that? Of the.
Sally.
Sally? So
Sally
we may have
Phillips.
talked to Sally. She kind of dropped the ball on us, maybe. I don't know.
So that's all right, but now we learn, so I just thought, we come and at least talk to you.
I just didn't want to give it to you guys, that's all.
No, that's all right.
I know.
All right, thank you for hearing us. Have a great evening. Thank
Absolutely,
you.
guys. Thank you guys very much for
Thank
coming.
you for doing business.
Do we have any more citizens that would like to share with the commission? Do we have any items from groups? Moving on to items from commissioners, we'll stick with our tradition of starting with Commissioner Segrist.
Well, I'll be brief. I just want to thank National Beef for their generous donation of $50,000. That will certainly be put to good use at the rec center. And I know there are some important basketball games going on tonight, so I will pass to Commissioner Linenbroker.
I have nothing tonight.
I just want to thank the two officers again. That's a lot to ask for people to do, and I think we all think that's awesome what they did, and also thanks for National Beef for being a good partner to the community and helping out with what we hope is something. It's a growing thing at the rec center that's just going to get better and better. We hope, and maybe we can get Matt, Nick some gyms someday if we can figure out maybe cut their wages or something and put that into buildings or. But anyway, we appreciate you guys' hard work. I think that's going to be the future of that is what our employees make happen out there. So that's all I have.
I also want to thank National Beef for their donation and appreciate what you guys did. I was gone out of town and didn't want to come back. It was so nice over there in Phoenix, Tucson, and Las Vegas. So kind of got stuck down there, but it's good to be home. But thank you guys, whatever you did to keep stuff running, man. It
But
was
you
bad.
can make a recommendation on where not to stay, correct?
Yeah. So, thank you, everybody.
To reiterate from what the rest of the commissioners said, thank you very much to National Beef. Our community greatly relies on organizations like yourself making generous donations to be able to keep things flowing forward, so thank you very much for that. Also to the officers that rescued the infant, that was just a completely selfless act, and that is just such a genuine and unique thing to see in today's world. We're very grateful to have all of the first responders that we have in the community, so thank you guys very much for your work. To the street workers that went through living hell the last couple of weeks dealing with this ice storm, thank you guys so much for all of the hard work that you put in, the timeless hours, upkeeping the equipment, making sure that we are keeping our roadways as safe as humanly possible. Also want to extend out a great thank you to Southern Pioneer. Many of the communities around us, as we were going through outages all over the place, Liberal for the most part, stayed pretty much online. And once again, I want to reiterate to everyone in the community, all businesses and people, be conserving electricity as much as humanly possible, because we have no idea what the rate increase from our local electric company is going to look like following next month. So highly recommend that we be conservative now more than ever when it comes to how much electricity we are all currently using. That being said, can we have approval of the vouchers?
I'll make a motion that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $2,506,799.56.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Warren with a second by Commissioner Segrist to approve the vouchers in the amount of $2,506,799.56. Is there any more discussion on the item? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0, and we are adjourned.